So I got my mother back from being cremated today. And honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about it. And I kept telling Michael how I'm glad I have her back, but I wish it wasn't this way. I wish I wasn't getting her back the way I got her back. And I wish I could. I wish I could have her back alive. In the flesh and bone. Talking to me the way she always did. Asking me to get her this or that or cook her something. So, Michael and I, on the 11th, had her and my dad over because they had needed to do laundry. And right before getting here, we had breakfast. But even though this was something that we would always get for her, her body just didn't agree with it, so she got a little bit sick. So when we came here, I told her, okay, Mama, you know what? Don't do anything. Just sit down on the sofa and rest. And Daddy and I will do y'all's laundry. So she said, oh, well, Mija, you know, I don't really want to do that, but okay. And I said, okay, thank you. So she got here, because this is how it always was lately, where she'd get a little sick. So when I'd have her over, I told her, just rest, just sit down. If you need to take a nap, take a nap. I'll try to get you something warm to drink. Maybe a peppermint, or, sorry, I'm watching Piper. I'll just do what I can to make sure you're nice and comfortable. And that's exactly what happened. And then before I knew it, she was all better, and she had told my dad and I, because Michael was going to be at work that day, so he wasn't here, it was just me, my mom, and my dad. And she had told us how she was pretty much already hungry already. So I made them a tiny bit of something, and I said we'll eat more when Michael gets off work, because he was going to get off work early that day. And everything was okay. We went to go eat. She didn't eat much. We were all kind of just packed in the back of the car because Michael wanted Piper to be in the front, which was fine with us. We like to always see to make sure they get inside their apartment, and everything went fine. She was okay. And then the next day, on the 12th, I myself had to do laundry. So Michael and I went somewhere else to go do my laundry. And I kept having all these weird feelings. And it had all started with the night before. So my mom would always tell me right after getting out of the car and saying, bye, Mija, please. When you and Michael get home, call me or text me to let me know. Please call. So I said, okay. So I texted her because I never really liked calling. It's just me. She knew that. She was okay with it. She didn't like it, but she was okay with it. And I had texted her, all right, Mama, we're home. And so she texts me, okay. And then she texts me the usual stuff. She always texted me, thank goodness. Thank God and the angels that you and Mike made home safe and sound. And we love y'all, and thank you very much for letting us do, like, you know, whatever in the apartment. And I had this weird feeling of, text her back because this is her last text to you. And I thought to myself, no, it's just me and my crazy thinking that I sometimes would get. It's just gonna be alright. Even though I still had in the back of my mind, text her back one more thing, or just call her. No, it'll be alright. Well, I had gotten sick that night as well myself, so I wasn't feeling too good. So Michael and I, the next day, before I started to do my laundry, we kind of too had a late start. So that was the first thing. And then when we were finally getting ready to do my laundry, I got in the car, and I went in the car first because Michael went to go walk real quick Piper. And the minute I got in the car, it felt so weird to me because I felt like someone had came inside the car with me at the very same time. And I thought, it's kind of weird. Really weird. But because I sometimes get paranoid, I thought to myself that it's just another thing of where I'm just being crazy. But I didn't bother looking back or anything, like in the back of the car. I was just there and like, oh, well, that was a weird feeling. That was another thing. But I wasn't putting two and two together for whatever stupid reasons. I just wasn't putting it all together. But anyway, as Michael and I are driving to where we know I like to go to do my laundry, I look out the window, and it's so weird to me. I don't tell Michael this then and there, but it's so weird to me because there was this bird flying. It was that day it was kind of windy here in San Antonio, and this bird was trying its hardest to fly against the wind. And I was thinking to myself, oh, birds, they don't do that. They know to fly with the wind. They won't fly as hard as they can like this bird was doing. So I thought to myself, that's kind of weird, and it's weird that it feels like it's kind of following us or trying to keep pace with us. Again, goes right over me. So, windy out there, thinking nothing of it, just it was probably a bird that had just for the first time was flying, and that's why that was the way it was. We get to where we're going, do my laundry, Michael and I are just goofing off, being silly, and I kind of feel weird for doing so. I don't know why, but I do. And I'm like, whatever, I'll just keep playing around. And we finally get done, and I tell Michael I want to go to the dollar store, and then from the dollar store I want to go to Walgreens because I wanted to see. My mother had asked me to do Christmas goodie bags for her, and I ended up not doing so. So I wanted to see what they had for Valentine's Day at the dollar store and maybe even Walgreens, so that I could maybe go and do Valentine's goodie bags for her instead. So he takes me there, and again, I'm looking around, just having this weird feeling. I don't know of what. Still, every feeling I have is just going right over my head. I don't buy anything. I'm just looking. Then I tell him, okay, please take me to Walgreens. I look at some stuff. I find a snack that I think I can have. So I get that. I see another snack that I'm thinking to myself I could share with my mom. So I get that. So we go home, and this is like around, it's already getting 4. It was already like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we do what we gotta do when we come home. And then right as I'm about to play a game, or I am playing it, I get a call from my dad. He calls and he says, Mia, your mom and I went to go have breakfast. Your mom was craving, the day before, she was craving a hamburger, which we didn't get for her. So she still kind of wanted a hamburger, even though she was the type that if she wasn't going to get something the very day that she wanted it, her body wasn't going to agree with it, because that's just how her body worked. And so he tells me that they went, and everything was okay. She was fine. But then after that, she got really sick. And he thought that maybe it would be okay if he just did like what I always did here when I had her over here, which was I just give her everything I needed to give her, let her take a little rest, and she'd be all better. Well, he told me that the nap that they had took was like a good 2 to 3 hours ago, and he thought that if he just let her rest, that she would be all better. She had gotten a really bad stomach ache. But when he got up, she wasn't up. He said he thought she would be okay because she always had a heater that she liked to always turn on, because she would always get super cold. And he said that at some point he himself had to turn it off because he was worried that she would just end up keeping it on and then something would happen. And that's what she was doing. She was turning it on and off. And he did ask her, do you want to go to the ER? But he didn't do anything because she didn't say anything. She was kind of just like out of it. So as he's calling and telling me all this, he says, Mia, she's barely breathing. And I said, Dad, what? I go, okay. Michael and I will stop what we're doing right now. We just got home, but we'll go head over there. And I just had this really horrible feeling. And I said, damn it, I knew it. I told Michael, I said, I had all these weird experiences today. And it all started, thank you, baby, thank you. It all started last night when I had that feeling of just text. So we get there, and my husband and I go in, and we figure that my dad had left the door open because we were asking him at first if the gate was open or not. You're so sweet, Piper. And my husband goes in all the way first, goes into the room. He looks at me and tells me, you stand right there and you call 911. And I said, babe, why? And he said, you don't want to see her right now. Just call 911. So I say, okay. And I'm getting distraught because even though I already know, because I felt it and I saw all the damn signs. So I call 911 and I tell him, I hand the phone to my husband and I tell him, honey, what do I even say? Because at this point I already know. So they tell me that they're gonna send a link for me to click on, and it'll help them view everything going on. So they tell my husband and my dad to get my mom on the floor and make sure to have her head where it's safe and okay. So they do that. But I see how my mom looks. She's gone. think she left the minute my dad and her took that nap. Oh, Piper. But the person on the phone tells my husband to do CPR on her anyway, and to not stop until the EMT gets there. And they're trying. The EMTs get there. My husband is getting so worried before that, though, because he's feeling like he's breaking everything. And I told him that's fine. It's actually kind of normal that happens when you're doing CPR. And he said, okay. But I said, oh, it really wouldn't have mattered anyway. Because she was already gone. But they do tell us that, sorry about that. They do tell us that they're going to try to do everything they can to try to get her to come back. And they say they're gonna put a tube in her mouth to kind of get everything out that they need to get out, as well as stick some kind of needle in her knee. And I'm thinking to myself, I should probably just tell them. There's no point in doing all this. But I still let them do it. Because I have this hope. I have this false hope in me, thinking it's just a horrible joke she's playing on me. But they get a hold of her doctor, or a doctor, even though my mother had a primary care doctor. And they announce her dead at like 6 something at night. Her blood sugar was super high, but I had tried to tell them that that was actually normal for her. Even her diabetic doctor would start to understand that her sugar level being high was just normal for her, even though that was always dangerous. No matter what she did or how she could do something, we could never control too good her diabetes. So I'm glad, I think, that she passed in her sleep, but I'm not happy that she only passed away at 61, because I think that's still too young. And I hate that she would start to have a lot of days where she would tell me and my father, oh, mija and husband, don't you guys worry. Your lives will be a lot better when I'm not in it anymore. And I hated that she would say that, because I would tell her, my life wouldn't be better without you, mamita. It wouldn't be better at all. What daughter isn't gonna need her mama anymore, you know? I would tell her, I'm always gonna need you. She would ask me, for what? You have your own life, you have your husband who loves you, you don't need me, there's nothing to need me for. And I'm like, yeah, to love me, to cook for me when I want something to eat. She's like, no, you can cook yourself. You're better than me, mija. I told her, no, I'm not. You make such good food, mamita. And even every once in a while, I would call her up and be like, hey, mama, do you remember what you put in this food of yours? She'd be like, oh, yeah, I put this and this, mija. Oh, and don't forget this. I'm going to miss her so damn much. And I know it's not ever gonna get easy. Yeah. Yeah. But I still thought that maybe talking more about the day of it all happening might have, I don't know. I don't know.